Welcome to the Pick and Pop podcast. Today we're going to be recapping the second round of the NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking about the conference finals in the NBA playoffs and our predictions. But before we get into that, Josie, how you doing, my boy?
Yo, what up, Valentin? How are you, brother? I'm doing great. Honestly, had a great day. First of all, just amazing time right now. It's summer, baby. Summer for us boys over here. California, most of the California schools are out of session, all the universities. So feeling great. And you know what? We're gonna give you guys a lot of content this summer. We're really excited for that. And yeah, man, overall I'm doing good. I got my intelligent glasses to give intelligent takes. And yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah,
What about you?
unfortunately, I
How
don't
you
have my intelligent glasses today, so maybe some bad takes. But I'm doing good too. Like you said, we just finished school, so I'm very excited about that. That's the reason we haven't uploaded the last couple. We've been uploading shorts, but not like the full podcast because we've been
doing?
doing finals and stuff. But now we got that out the way. Finally, fuck school.
Ah,
um,
yeah, I haven't seen that. Fuck school. Fuck.
but yeah, man. So I guess let's get right into it. Warriors. We'll get into the most boring one. Warriors Timberwolves. Curry got injured.
Ah.
First game, and Minnesota got him out of there in five.
Mhm,
So, what are your
mhm.
thoughts on that?
Man, like as you guys know, I'm a Warriors fan, a big Warriors fan. I love the Warriors, man. I mean, come on, Steph Curry, baby, come on. No, but for real, like, man, it was a boring series. My thought is just, man, personally, listen, I like Ant-Man. I know Valentin's got some strong opinions about him, so we'll talk about that right now. It just sucks. It has to be our team, my team. It sucks. If it was against another team, maybe I would be actually pretty happy. I'll be like, yeah, let's go. Even when they beat the Lakers, I'm not a Lakers hater, but they beat the Lakers, and I was kind of like, I love Luca too, guys, and LeBron, but it's like I wasn't as sad when they got eliminated. But when it comes to the Warriors, man, it sucks, man. Like Steph is out, and I know you're gonna point this out about what the story looking back, if Anthony keeps going, it's gonna be like, oh, he went through all these people, but he didn't really go through Steph because Steph was injured. But I don't know, man. I think after Steph went down, I think the Timberwolves, they just knew what they were doing, locked in offensively, defensively, and it just ran through the team. So it was just unfortunate. That's at least that's what I think.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. So I'm gonna start there. We have to give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves because they played who was in front of them. It's not their fault that the team wasn't healthy. They got it done. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, like I was telling you, just you brought it up right now. The only um little like nitpick that I have is that the like narrative is that Ant-Man is the
Yeah.
legend killer, right? And and don't get me wrong, that's cool. He's true. He got Kevin Durant out of there and he got LeBron out of there. But I don't like that they're putting Curry in these like images like with Thanos and the Infinity Stones and there's Curry and all because he didn't beat Curry. You know what I'm saying? It's not me. Like, yeah, he beat the Warriors, and even Draymond brought it up. Like, he was saying, like, when we beat the
Oh, that was such
Cavs,
a good interview.
he was saying, yeah, we beat the Cavs
Sorry, go
in
ahead.
2015 when Kevin Love and Kyrie were injured. So I'm not gonna. So he said, I'm not gonna bring that up as an excuse. So I agree. I totally agree. My problem is just with like the Twitter world and like saying that Ant Man like is the legend killer. Well, I know I sound like a big old hater right now. He is a legend killer, but he didn't kill Steph. Is my point. He didn't kill Steph.
we need to, we need to have an edit of like you went through everybody, but not for me. And then Steph next year's gonna come by and just go
Right,
crazy.
right. Hopefully.
But not me. Nah, but no, man. Like you said, it's hopefully the narrative stays. It just changes of like, oh, yes, he did go through. He went to KD. He did go to LeBron and Luca. And I mean, you know what? The Warriors, fair play. He went through the Warriors, which is a good team. We're not. I wouldn't say trash, but a good team, right? Decent team, but not against Steph, man. Not against Steph. Like literally, Steph's right here. It's not against you, Steph. Not against you. So it's tough, man. But yeah, man. I just thought the series was over, man. I'm just like I told you. I did my best to watch. Obviously, I was really busy with the exams, but Man, even after he went down, even here, as you guys, I don't think you guys know, but I kind of go, I go to school here at a school in the Bay Area, and man, people around were just sad. They had the Curry and the Butler jerseys, but people, you could tell, man, they knew it was over as soon as Steph went down. Batman did not get up this time, unfortunately. They couldn't
Yeah,
get one.
it's unfortunate because like the thing is, I don't think in my at least in my opinion, we weren't expecting. And when I say we, I mean we as like Warriors fans, we weren't expecting like Butler to carry that
A
load
chip.
when Steph was in there.
Mm.
But maybe I was expecting just a little bit more effort from him. I know he's older now. It's not the same 2020 versus the Heat where he gave like 50 points every night. It looked like to keep them alive. That's not
Mhm.
fair to ask of him. But maybe just more aggression, taking more shots. And I know that's hard to do because it's his first year there. Maybe he's not acclimated yet fully to the system. And I think next year's gonna be good. If everyone's healthy, who knows? We could have made it to the conference finals. Granted, I don't think we would have beat OKC or the Nuggets, depending on who we saw. But or maybe we wouldn't have even beat the Timberwolves. You never know. But can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, Sunday. Go ahead. No, no, you good. You good. I was hearing the background.
But yeah,
I was like,
but just I guess my last thoughts again. Shout out to the Timberwolves because they did win. There's gonna be a good
mhm.
conference finals because now whatever team wins is a new champion. So that's the good thing about it.
Actually, I kind of want to talk about this. Again, NBA Twitter tends to be very notorious for rage baiting. We don't really do that here. Kind of want to do that, but you know
Not
what?
yet.
Bounty's right. We're not yet. But what I will say is this, people have talked about that as well. Two things happened today, actually, funny enough. One thing is that how do you feel about having different winners every year that we haven't had a consecutive winner in a while? It's been, I think, what did they say, 6 years? We're about to hit no, 7, 6,
Let
not
me
counting
see.
the Warriors in
2019
2018.
Raptors,
Raptors,
2020 Lakers, 2021 Bucks,
Lakers,
Warriors,
Bucks,
Nuggets,
Nuggets, Celtics.
Celtics. Yeah.
And then now a new seventh. This is
Yeah,
the
seven.
seventh year, and people have claimed that this is bad for the NBA. I want to know your opinion before I give you mine. But what do you think? Is this bad for the NBA, or is it a good thing? As many others see it.
That's actually interesting because I've been seeing that it's a good thing because
Okay.
I've been seeing it's a good thing, and the argument is that the league has more parity. So there's a new winner, the
Hmm.
smaller markets, it gets the fans more involved because new teams do win every year. It makes it more interesting. So like during the Warriors Cavs era when it was just them in the finals every year, people felt like the season was it didn't matter because you knew what was gonna happen at the end of the year. But
Hmm.
the other
Yeah.
side of the argument is, I mean, or my side of the argument, I think, look, I think it's good for all those reasons that I just mentioned. But the reason
Hmm.
that I have a little bit pushback is because there's when a team wins every year, the same team, or they're in the
Hmm.
finals a lot, they're like contenders all the time, it creates like a Goliath that someone wants to take
Yes.
down. Everybody targets them. Everybody,
Yeah.
the whole league hates them, and it creates this lore. But
Hmm.
without
We
like
all need someone to
somebody
hate on, like a Joker,
exactly, we all
like
need
a
someone to
villain,
we
like
all need a
Thanos.
villain. Exactly, because without it,
We
there's
need a
kind of
villain.
the stakes aren't as big. I feel like so that's my only
Yeah.
pushback.
I
But
that
but I like it. I
that's the
guess
only
it's good
pushback.
for people to get some rings that usually wouldn't get
Hmm.
one.
You know what? This is interesting. So this kind of takes me back to, like, again, as you guys know, I'm a big soccer fan. As you guys know, Manchester City has won the league in the Premier League 4 times in a row in the last 4 years. Since 2021, they won it all the way to 24, which is insane, by the way. That's crazy. Liverpool won it this year for the first time since 2020. So there has not been a new winner since 2019. It's only been those two same clubs in the last, say, 7 years, 6 years, which is a crazy statistic. So, and the reason I'm saying this, it kind of reminds me of that Warriors dynasty era, and even when the Bulls kind of did that. I think that looking at it in that perspective of like looking at that, because yes, when Manchester City were losing all those games earlier in the season, everybody was hating, everybody loved it, everybody except obviously their fans. So, and I think what happens in those dynasties, there is that thing of like glory hunters or whatever, whatever. But that's more of soccer, you know. In basketball, I think it is the same thing. I think it's nice to have new winners. You know, we actually able to give, not we, but like we get more different winners, more championship winners, finals MVPs. Like it is nice for the not just casuals. I think it's nice for everyone to see every year right now, like new team winning. But I can see that argument too of like you want to have a villain or a main team everybody hates. You know, I think everybody tried to make that the Celtics this year, right? Because they just
Right.
won.
Right.
But now that they're out, it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. The champions are out. Now it's someone's gonna take over, you know? So
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think it is a good thing to have new winners every year. But I can see how the argument of also like how are you gonna build players with like legacies if they can't win multiple championships? I don't know if that makes sense because
Yeah.
you know they might even argue that this era was either there was no like dogs winning, like there was not one guy that just won a bunch of chips. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to make? Because we had like the 90s, people say what it was like Michael Jordan. Then you had the early 2000s. Was that when kind of Kobe started winning? Like to
Kobe
late
and Shaq.
2000s, right?
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq. And
Early
then you got like what
2000s
2010s,
and late 2000s.
all the way through.
Yeah.
That's actually insane. And then like the 2010s, you could argue LeBron,
Yeah.
LeBron,
LeBron
and
won
then
like
Steph era.
four
You
or
could
three
argue
in that
Steph as
era.
well a little bit.
Yeah. Steph won
I
three
guess you
as
could
well.
argue that's crazy. It's, that like that's what I'm saying. Like it just builds on those legacies of being a legend. So like what's gonna happen in the 20, 30 years looking back, and like being like, okay, Giannis won, this guy won, Jason Tatum won, Steph won another one. You know, maybe that's gonna increase more for Steph. Again, I'm not trying to glaze Steph. I do love Steph, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I think it's good for now, but for the long term, I feel like a lot of these chips might be forgotten as time goes on, if that makes sense.
Well, you know what's interesting? I
But
was
I don't know.
thinking, like, to play devil's advocate, what if it's
Mhm.
the opposite?
Go ahead.
What if it builds more legacy? Because now you have more legends. Because now you're getting a chip. Now that Giannis has a chip, he's cemented. Now that Jokic has one, he's cemented. If Anthony Edwards gets one, he's
Mhm.
cemented. Jason Tatum, even though he gets hated on, he's cemented as a legend because they're winning. Um,
Even though he's a copycat, I thought you were gonna say a copy, a carbon copy. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
no, the carbon. But no,
the
but that's
carbon
true,
copy.
man. And also, what was the other point you brought up about they might be forgotten? Maybe the opposite because they do have a championship. Because people
Uh-huh.
usually forget people who don't win, like Kyle. I don't even
Mm,
know his name. What's it? Clyde Drexler from the '90s? I think we brought him up before. He
mhm,
was like super good. He was like second to Jordan, and nobody knows him
mhm,
because he didn't win in that era. And now
mhm.
it can be like
Go ahead.
some players like I don't know. For example, I don't know. I can't think of one, but like if Shea
Jokic.
wins or something, like
Oh
they're
shit.
not gonna be forgotten because they have a championship. Like
Mhm.
whenever you bring up
I mean, I meant it more in the
2025,
sense. Oh,
yeah,
God. Yeah, you bring up 25, but like, dude, that's like the time where like they went through all these teams, all these amazing teams, like championship potential. Which you know what? That's a good argument. That the last 6, 7 years, we just had so many championship caliber teams that can win the chip that makes everything so much more competitive. Which is why people can maybe bring an argument. You know what? 2020 was the hardest decade to win a chip of all time. That could be an argument going forward. What I meant it more though, when you mean, I meant like they might forget this decade as in like who owned that decade. That's what I meant. Like who owns
right,
that
right.
decade? Nobody really. That's what I meant more. But you brought up a really good point of like that. Like you're right. Nobody remembers what's his name? Dry Klexer? See, I don't even remember him.
Yeah, no, but look, another thing that
So
I wanted to say was if it was natural, I wouldn't mind it as much because say that this was just natural and
mhm,
everyone was winning a championship every year, it would kind of be like, okay, well, that's just the way it is. And it is, and
mhm,
like, why are we hating on it? That's just the way it is. But the truth is that the new second apron rule that came out with them that you can't, it
could you
doesn't
explain
allow
that?
you to keep your team intact because so what it is, it's like a cap. You can't spend this much money, and
Mhm,
and and I understand that. So you don't keep adding players. Like if I'm the Celtics and I already have all this my stacked team, yeah, I'm not gonna go get Kevin Durant in the offseason because that wouldn't be fair. And I don't have enough money for that. But when they're already my players, when I already have Tatum, when I drafted Tatum, I drafted Brown, I got Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Porzingis. You're telling me I can't keep them? I can't keep them just because of this new rule? Like that's not fair. This is our team, and that's the thing that I was getting at, where there's no Goliath because now there's no one that can take them down. They're just gonna break down on their own because of money issues.
Hmm.
They're gonna break up due to
And
money
could you
issues.
explain why? When did that rule come into play and why? Was the Warriors KD trade and why?
It
Or
was
what?
because all this like super teams, yeah. But it came like maybe like
Mhm.
2 years ago, I want to say, um, and it's because all the
Mhm.
super teams they were like,
And
oh,
you,
like that's not good for the league. We want parity, and that's what I'm saying. That is being parity is being forced. If it was natural, I wouldn't mind
mhm.
it as much. But it's
Yeah,
being
it's kind of
forced.
just like they're adding these what's the word for it? Adding these policies to make it like that. Like make it that
Yeah.
new just this new way of basketball they're trying to push forward, right?
Yeah,
So,
like the
I don't know.
commissioner and the all the like owners, they're like molding it to what they want rather than let it,
Let
you
it
know,
just be naturally,
just let it
which
be.
could be mean more super teams or this or that or whatever. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, super teams are fun. Yes, they're annoying, especially when you're winning a lot. But I mean, I think that sometimes the league kind of needs that, you know. But I mean, just to move on from the topic, um, I would talk about Shea, but I think we'll talk about that once we get to the OKC series. But of course, what happened today? Shea did just win MVP. But I want to ask you, what do you think of? Interesting enough, what do you think of the Knicks versus the Celtics, man? Like, what did you think of that series? I'm so curious.
Yeah, man. Well,
Let the people
no
know.
one was expecting that, first of all, because do you remember that first
Mhm.
game? The Celtics were up by 20, and I remember thinking, okay, yeah, this makes sense because us during the regular season, or the Knicks, they were known for not beating teams that were oh no, that were over 500. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
saw that.
remember that.
And so
I saw
everyone
that
was
statistic.
saying
They just
in
couldn't
the
beat them.
playoffs, everybody's over 500, so you're not gonna be winning then. And we beat the Pistons, and that was a good win. Don't get me wrong, but they were a
Mhm.
young team. They took us to 6, I'm pretty sure. So I was like, Celtics, no way we're beating them. And the first game, it looked like they were gonna beat us, and we came back by 20. And even that game, I was thinking, okay, we came the Knicks came back from down 20, but it was a fluke. Sometimes that happens.
Mhm.
And then it happened the second game again. And even then, I was still like, man, this good that they're winning, but they're doing it while down 20 and coming back. How many more times can that happen?
Yeah, it's like how many more times can you make a miracle happen?
Right.
Not that
Can
much.
you strike lightning in a bottle 4 times? And I was thinking no. But they did it 3 times, and then Tatum got injured, and then, they finished the job.
Well, as a Celtics fan myself as well, so but we have two teams, and he's a Knicks fan. So congratulations to your Knicks. I'm glad that fan base is winning it. I do not like the what they did against that Pacers fan, but that got sorted out, which is fine. But what I will say, he got sorted out. He got front row seat tickets, baby. That's a W.
They
But
threw
what I
like
do
trash on
will
him,
want to
right?
say is, yeah, crazy. And he's a firefighter for New York. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And he's a Pacers fan. Do better, Knicks fans. Hey, Timothy Chalamet, control your people, dog. We love you. We love the Knicks over here. Kinda, not me, not really. But my boy over here loves the Knicks, so that's what all I'm saying is control. Timothy Chalamet. I forgot how to say Al Hagarib. Please control them. I can't say that. I forgot to say it. But anyways, for me, man, after JT, I know JT got injured in game 4, was it? Or game 3? Was it game 4 or 5?
3. Man, you're right. I don't know.
It,
The Knicks won
I
the
don't
first two.
remember.
Celtics won 3.
And he probably got injured in 4 when the Knicks won that game. I'm assuming.
Right, and then we
Like
were up
they when they went
3-1, right?
3-1.
Yeah.
I think so. And then the Celtics won the next one, and then it took it to game 6, and then I think after
Right.
that it's over, right? Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Fair play, man. I think the Boston just hopefully they can keep those pieces, and hopefully JT feels better. Pray up for JT. JT, man, we're praying for you, bro. I know you'll probably never see this, but
Yeah, that's
we
true.
love you over here.
Prayers to
Hoping you
JT.
get better. Um, man, it just sucks, man. People, I think, I want to kind of compare this to soccer as well. I am a big soccer comparison. Just injuries have been occurring. There's been arguments of cutting down games, not just in soccer, but even sometimes I've heard rumors in basketball I just
Yeah.
think, and I think we're going to get into it. Aaron Gordon, he just said himself, he's like, man, like, it would be nice to get at least 2 days rest rather than back to back. And that makes sense. It's like, you know what? Yeah, like, it would be nice to get maybe lower the regular season to maybe 10 less, and then just make the playoff a little bit longer. I think that would be great. And what I'm trying to say is not just about fatigue, but I wanted to ask, like, do you think that looking at this and even looking, talking about the Pacers next, do you think just like soccer, and how in the Champions League, it doesn't matter like the regular season or your regular league, how you perform. You think the playoffs is just a different breed? Because clearly these Pacers, man, are just destroyed. And like we've seen it before with the Heat. Do you think that as long as you make it to the playoffs, everyone's got a chance to win? Are we getting to that point in the NBA where you just make it to the playoffs and anyone can win? I wonder what you think about that. Or is it just a West thing?
I just dropped my mic. But
Because it was so fire of a question.
uh yeah, hopefully it's still plugged in. But
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
but yeah, I think more so now, and I think it kind of goes back to the parity thing that we were talking about earlier. Now since every team is basically on the same level, we
Hmm.
if you make it to the playoffs, well, yeah,
Basically.
you have a chance. Before, if you were the 8 seed, it's kind of like, well, you kind of stand no chance. And now it's
Hmm.
still kind of like that. Like if you're an 8 seed, your chances are still slim, but
Hmm.
not as much as they were before. Like the Heat made it to the as an 8 seed, they made it to the finals just when was it, this 2 years ago?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Versus Denver.
yeah, versus Denver. So yeah, I think so. If you make it, you have a chance, especially in the West with everything being so close, man.
No, I think I agree, man. It's just, I mean, especially in the West, like you can tell, like in the West alone, like look, the Warriors made it seventh. They were able to make it through. Even the Timberwolves, you can argue, they're sixth seed. They're in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like back in the day, I used to be kind of rare to see the sixth seed. So like, it's actually pretty good, to see it. And yeah, I actually think this is a good way because now you know what, like the playoffs have been entertaining. Like, I don't think I've heard people say like, I've been noticing more people watching basketball. More people are like, oh, I'm a fan of this team, or I've been watching it. Because you know what, these finals have actually been, like every game does feel like entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
So I gotta give Adam Silver maybe that Luca trade. He made a deal with the freaking devil and was like, you know what? The devil was like, you need to trade Luca. Well, don't worry, God will level that shit out. Entertaining ass playoffs. Viewer numbers gonna be up. We're gonna have Steph, LeBron in the playoffs. At least 1 or 2 rounds, it'll work out. So I don't know, man. Adam Silver, some voodoo shit out there, man. That I feel like he's been doing it. But yeah, man. Well, just to move on a little bit, I don't know if you want to bring
Well,
anything up, but
yeah, I just want to
are you
touch
ready to move
a
on?
little
Or
bit
go ahead.
more like, you know, yeah,
Fatigue.
congrats to the Knicks going to the Eastern
Yes, yes.
Conference Finals.
Huge.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson,
man,
baby. Time to
Jalen
trust the
Brunson.
project kid.
Yeah, that's actually him who I wanted to talk about a little bit. Then you know how we were talking
Oh,
about
yeah, sure.
like when you make it to the playoffs, you that's when you become a superstar because that's when the casuals realize you're
Mm.
good. That's when they realize, oh shoot,
Mhm.
who is this guy Brunson? What the heck? Like, why is he so good? Well, he came out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Um, and I think this is it for him, where he finally make cemented his name. Same with Tyrese Halliburton. Um, so shout out to
He's got
them.
27 points right now in the fourth quarter.
Who's winning?
Your boy, 27 points. The 1 point game. Knicks are up 1 point, boys.
Intense game. You
Tyrese
see, yeah,
Halliburton with 23 points.
yeah, like you were saying, man. Every game, every series is exciting. Other than Timberwolves Warriors, every series has been exciting.
I mean, that first game was entertaining
Yeah,
to
the
be
first one was
fair.
good.
That first one was pretty good, but but it just happens, man. Yeah, I agree, man. I think even you can argue even Halliburton. What the hell? Even Tyrese, man. I think I'm a big Tyrese Halliburton fan. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know it's glazing. Even when he was even when we were watching him in the Olympics last year, I forget, which is a year ago, which is insane. But when he was doing it, I was just like, damn, this guy has like potential, and we all knew about his assists. I'm gonna pass the by him and Jalen Brunson, especially Jalen Brunson, man. Like you said, I think this, like you said, you're right. This is when the casuals are watching TV, watching the playoffs, eating barbecue chicken wings at freaking Buffalo Wild Wings. Then they see this guy called Jalen Brunson doing this celebration with the nose thing, with almost all the Nova boys there, almost. So, amen. I want to ask you, man. Speaking of the Nova boys, what if we get Knicks versus Timbs in a final?
Yeah, we have all the Nova boys in the
Josh Hart,
finals,
Mikal Bridges
and we have a
in
whole
a
lore
final.
with Julius Randle and Cat.
Julius Randle. Oh yeah. What if? Well, we'll get into that later because that's the final.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, man, I think Jalen Brunson is. I mean, we've known his talent even when he was at the Mavs. Like everybody knew he was amazing.
But
But
we didn't know he was gonna be
I gotta
this
give.
good.
We didn't know he was gonna be. We knew he was good, but we didn't know he was gonna take over a franchise level good. Like he's better. Is it good to say that this is his franchise, not Cat's? Cat's just there to
Oh
help.
no,
Is
it's
that
his
fair to say?
100%. No, 100%.
100%. Yeah, I just
No
didn't want to
question about it.
overstep. But people love him in New York more than people love him, man. New York Knicks fans, congratulations. There's one right here, but congratulations to y'all. So big fan of him, man. So hopefully people get to know who he is and get to watch him in the regular season going forward.
Yeah, I guess let's touch on the other team.
Other
What do you
two,
think of Cavs versus Pacers?
brother. If I'm being honest, that one was a crazy series. I think was there like one or two game winners in that series? I don't remember, but I know that one from Tyrese Halliburton where he went
Right, I think there was
and when
two.
he
Yeah,
missed,
both from the
there was
Pacers.
two, right? Because he missed, grabs his own rebound. Well, it bounces off someone else, grabs it, and it does he steps back on the most craziest 3-point shot. He just goes like, there's a crazy jump shot. I can't even do it, but he has an interesting shooting or motion. That shit went in, bro. And that gives him the win is crazy. So, you know what? If Halliburton wins this, like goes to even the final, and he's like, overrate that. The edits, dude. Valentine told me about this the other day. The edits are gonna be insane.
Yep.
What the hell, you Barry? And then same with the chip in the Finals MVP.
Yep. Or who
Imagine,
knows? He might not even
imagine
get
again.
Finals MVP because that's how their
He
team is
probably
very
wouldn't.
balanced.
Who do you think would get? That's getting into a whole box of worms. Then we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
But man,
Or
I'll give you this. When we were talking about the Cavs,
Cavs, man.
in the Heat versus Cavs series, you were saying that you could see the Heat beat the Cavs. And granted, that was
Oh
crazy because
yeah,
they got swept. But
yeah.
you were kind of right in that they were in that team because they did lose in 5. Was it in 5?
They lost in 4 or no 5, 5, 5, not 4.
Which
They
is
lost in 5
crazy to lose in 5. I will give them this.
and
One of
have
the
them.
games, they are dealing with injuries. Darius Garland didn't play one game, and Evan Mobley either. And Donovan Mitchell, shout out
No.
to him. He was giving them everything he had. He had like 49 points one game, and he was dunking.
You can't argue, man.
He's so good, man.
Dude, Donovan Mitchell was doing. Dude, Donovan Mitchell, man. I'm glad he left Utah. Well, he was in Utah before, right?
Yeah.
Or no? Am I tripping? The Jazz. Man, dude, appreciate him because he gave everything. When you hear in soccer, die for the badge. Same thing in basketball. You're dying for that jersey, man. Like he is dying for these fans. Like he's out there. Spider's out there, freaking being Spider-Man, man. So, you know what? Like the Cavs have got a little experience, at least in the playoffs. I think it sucks, having the best record and then just, going out 4-1, especially like only to game 5, It
And it
sucks,
wasn't even
but
to the
like I
Celtics; it
said
was to the
earlier,
Pacers.
it was
Granted, they've
to the
been playing
Pacers,
great,
and I
but
mean the Pacers did beat the Bucks as well in five. Man, they've been 5-5. Both of these teams, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Cavs. So I mean, you might have to give them some credit, man. Like this is
100%.
they're playing pretty well, and they're not playing no sleeper game. No. I mean, to be fair, again, a lot of injuries, even with Milwaukee, right, with Dame.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what, dude? Like the Pacers might be the real deal, and like I said, I don't think the regular season matters anymore. Cause man, it does a little bit to a certain extent, but now it seems like, which is kind of scaring me because, and I'll explain right now why. Actually, I'll tell you now why. The reason it's scaring me is not thinking like, what if teams already don't really play players as much as it is. That's why they set that rule for awards. What if this season they're noticing, you know what, man? Even if we get the fourth seed, it doesn't matter. First seed, second, maybe like teams might start sacrificing seeds, placements, because they're like, you know what? I think I'm a prioritize say my health of my players now for sure, no matter what. Because we saw so many injuries this playoffs, and you can't even argue. Stars are getting injured left and right, and I think that's opposite, left and right. We've just been seeing injuries happen and I don't know if that's because luck. It could be, but I don't know. My fear is that teams and GMs are gonna be like, you know what, we're gonna start arresting players like a lot more, especially if they don't care about awards in the regular season. If they don't need them, I
I
don't know what
don't
you think about that.
think they will arrest
You don't
them
think they would?
just because of all these rules that they have been implementing. And
Hmm.
players also get
That's
paid
true.
more if they play a certain amount of games. So they're gonna be like, "What the heck? You're not gonna sit me down, bro? Like, I'll get extra 10 mil if I play 2 more games." But
Yeah, yeah.
but I understand what you mean because that this has been something that usually older teams figure out. Like for example, when the
Hmm.
Warriors went 73 and now 9 and they lost, they decided to not take the season as seriously and they were just locking in the playoffs. And a lot of teams do it. Like LeBron does this. The Warriors do this. Like veteran
He
teams, like
takes
even
a
the
month off before the
Celtics.
playoffs.
Yeah, well, he's older, you know. But even the Celtics did this. They didn't
Yeah, I
like
know. That's
they
good.
didn't thrive for the first seed because they knew like, oh, we already won a championship. We know where it counts, which is good. The only thing is that in the West, you can't do that because if you rest your player
Yeah.
one game and you guys lose, okay, well now all of a sudden you go from the third seed to the you're not in the playoffs anymore. And what are you gonna do then?
That was a crazy week, bro. That was a crazy week.
I don't think you can afford it.
That
Maybe
was
the
insane.
East can still afford it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Not just the rules, but yeah, the fact that the West is just so stacked, man. And dude, I'm telling you, boys, watch out for the freaking Spurs next year, cause man, these guys are building a team out there. They're getting the second they're getting the second pick this year as well.
And with the way
If they get
that
some
what's his
good one,
name from the maps, what's his
the way
name? Yeah,
Nico Harris.
the way Nico Harrison drafts, they might not. I mean, the type of brain he has, they might not pick Cooper Flag for his pick, dude. In the
That's
Celtics
not gonna
and
happen, bro.
in the Spurs
That
still,
would they
Wemby and
would
Cooper Flag.
Nah, that's not, bro. If that happens, bro, that would be probably that would make he would get fired instantly, bro. There's no way. And if he doesn't get fired, they want to move to Vegas, bro. They
Yeah,
want that Vegas money because if he does that, or if he trades for Giannis, all right, fair. That's kind of smart. That's genius. But if it's like this, like he just picks whoever he picks on second, and he doesn't even become a legend in 5 years, get that man out of there, bro. That man is not the right GM for the job, bro.
yeah.
Get him out of here. Or like
He's gonna get like the best
the
defensive
or
player in the draft. He's gonna be like, "Oh, defense wins championships, so we gotta do what we gotta do." He might.
the defensive championships. We know what we gotta do. Cooper Flag, his defensive rating is only .43. This guy had a .78, so we need him better. Defense was championships. Nah, man. But you know what? Back to the thing. Cavs versus Pacers. Back to kind of to get us back. I think the Pacers might be the real deal, man. And to be fair to the Cavs, pick it up next year. Learn, you do the right strides this summer, and you don't want to see them next year.
Good comment.
That's what I
But
would
no,
say.
but I think
Steph
you're
has
right.
said that before. So.
But I
But
think you're
for
right.
real, like,
Their fans, that keep your head up because even though you
mhm,
lost the second
mhm.
round 2 years in a row, you guys are still a force to be reckoned with. Evan Mobley's only gonna get better. Darius Garland, I feel like he still can get better. Maybe you guys trade him for something else. But regardless, you guys are still a solid team, and you have a chance of winning next year. So
Mhm.
no,
Good luck to you guys, bro. We wish you luck. We wish you luck. But to move on, man, the last one, and then we'll wrap it. We're not ramp it up, but ramp it up to get into the finals. What do you think of? And then we'll talk about Shea too. Thunders versus Nuggets. That series went to a game 7. What did you think of that series, man? Like, did you expect this outcome? I forgot what we said, but
Yeah, no, I didn't
what
expect
did you
this
think?
outcome. We actually never predicted for those, but I did not
Oh, actually, you're
expect
right.
that outcome because first of
Really?
all, I thought the Thunder were gonna get him out of there like in 6 max.
Uh huh.
So shout out to the
Okay.
Nuggets for always finding a way to win, no matter what,
Mhm.
no matter how
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
get it done. But the thing is, yeah, man, like Jokic is the best player in the world, but not having a head coach, firing your head coach 2 weeks before the playoffs start, um, uh, Aaron Gordon dealing with injuries, MPJ dealing with injuries, like it
And
was
then
bound
that
to
head coach
happen.
capping on you later, a couple days later, or a couple
Which
weeks
one?
later. Did you see
Oh, really?
the Denver coach? He's all like, "What did he say?" I should have screenshot it. It was something like him saying like, "There's a reason why Shea is the MVP." I was like, something like that. Something like
I
that.
don't
It was like
remember.
a
It's
jab
been like,
towards the Denver. You didn't see it?
mm,
It was hilarious. It was something like that. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about, but he was saying the Denver head coach Mike Malone,
oh, the old coach. That's what he was. It was
the
him.
old coach.
Oh yeah, Mike
The
Malone.
old coach said something like that, and people were saying in the comments like, "Damn, he hates Jokic."
I would be salty if I
I,
was
I,
him
I believe
too. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
believe I believe it was him. I believe it was him. I mean, yeah, but what happened to him? Yeah, yeah. I mean, what happened to him? But man, I think you're right. I mean, game 6, like we would have thought they would have wrapped it up. And you know what? Looking it back, the first game, and I have the game stats right here. First game, Denver won by 3 points. No, sorry, 2 points. It was a 2 point game. They won by two
And they
points.
came back, if I'm correct.
Then they go to the next one. Yeah, I believe so as well. The next game, blowout, 1-1. They lost by. Wait, I think that's I can't do math right now. What's that's 40? They lost by 43 points.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
What to the OKC? Then they go bounce back. They win in finals. They won the final, but in OT when she was like he was
Oh
smiling when he
snap!
walked out the court. Everyone's like, why is he smiling? They win the next game by 5 points. Go OKC. Then OKC, the series is tied, and then the OKC win again to take a lead, 7 points. Then Denver tied the series with 9-10. They win with about 12 points, and then a blowout win for them by 30,
So
30
that's what I
something
was saying
point,
about the
33 point.
Nuggets, the way that they find a way to win. Because if we look at all these blowouts,
Hmm.
when they win, it
Hmm.
was so close, and when OKC won, it was kind of blowouts. And that's because
Hmm.
OKC is more talented; they are the better team. But that
Hmm.
gives that's to give credit to the Nuggets, man. Like they still kept fighting back, even if they were out talented like that.
Jokic, man. It's about Jokic, Aaron Gordon. I mean, they got some good pieces around them. I think maybe Russell Westbrook. I think you reminded me about him. He's bringing that veteran experience. He's been there before in like these situations, so he kind of is able to tell the younger guys like what to do. And even Jokic being a leader out there. I mean, everybody seen that clip of him like literally like getting the freaking board and be like, "Hey, we're gonna do this." Jokic, as much as he looks like he does not give a damn, he cares, man. He cares about playing basketball, not just he loves the game, man. He doesn't. He might not show it, and he might not be expressive like everybody else. Maybe he's a little bit like Kawhi, maybe even more reserved. Actually, Kawhi doesn't say shit, so never mind. Kawhi's just like, but Jokic, to be fair, Jokic just goes. To be fair, man, he's such a good player, man. I don't want to say like, oh, he should have won the MVP. I said Shea should have won, I believe. So I'm never gonna go back on my word from a couple of weeks ago. But for our first video, actually, first or second video. So you know what, Shea deserves it, but man, Jokic is right there, best player in the world too, man. Right there, man. He's right there. So it was a good series though, all the way
Yeah,
to game 7.
I think I don't remember who I said should win MVP, but regardless of who should win MVP, Jokic I think is the best player in the world. because just man, he's just so good. But shout out to Shea and the OKC because they're a young team, and if they would have crumbled, it would have been like, well, sure were the best team in the league, and and they were supposed to win, but they're young, and this is like their first real test. So we would have excused
Mhm,
them. So shout out to them for pulling
mhm,
through and not using the young card as an excuse.
And now you know what? We have them in the finals for the conference Western Conference Finals. We can actually get to talking about that. What do you think, man? Obviously, as we're recording this, it is game one for both conferences. So we're actually gonna know who wins right now. Right now, the Pacers versus Knicks is a really close game. So we'll see who ends up winning. Wow, amazing game right now. I think the Knicks are up. I can't really tell, but what I'm gonna say is this: is that Thunderwolves versus Thunderwolves. Whoa, what? Thunderwolves.
Damn, that would have been a good team.
Timber. That's a fire name. Thunderwolves.
No,
Write that
actually,
down.
that
Write that
right,
down.
right it down.
Write it down. Write it down. No, but for real, Timberwolves versus the Thunder. Like, who do you think is gonna take it and make it to the final for the first time in their careers? Who do you think is gonna do it? Because these is new. We got new blood, baby. New blood all four ways, all yo, in both ways.
It's gonna be easy for me. It's gonna be like easy for me to say right now because it's like, oh, the Thunder won by a
Mm,
good margin. Like,
yeah,
of course they're gonna make it.
but we've seen blowouts.
But we have seen blowouts before, yeah. We have seen the the, the scale tip the other way, but I
Mm,
think that OKC has it, and it's not just because of game one. I just think the Timberwolves they faced, again, not to not give them credit, but they faced the Curryless Warriors, and some of those games were still close. So I don't think
mhm, mhm.
I think the Thunder should get them out of there. Not easy, but without as much of a fight as the Nuggets, at least.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna go. Mm, listen, I'm a man of reality, but I also love having fun from time to time. Right? I love having fun. The generic and not generic. It's not generic. It's the right answer. Really, it's to see the Thunder. You're right. The Wolves. I wouldn't say you're right. They kind of barely got past the Warriors in the sense that Steph was injured. If Steph was there, it would have changed the series. The Lakers, Lakers, they beat the Lakers in five. Still had a rough time some of those games, but
But that was a good
the
win for them.
Thunder, like you said, they're pretty. Yeah, exactly. The Thunders, swept the Grizzlies. They took the Thunder. The Thunder Nuggets went to Game 7, but they got it done. At the end of the day, they had 2-3 blowouts. The first game was a blowout. So the safe answer is to say Thunder. I completely understand. I don't know. I don't know, man. Right now I'm on the fence because for the lore, for the aura, for whatever, I want to say the Timberwolves make it, but my head is telling me to say, and my heart is telling me to say Thunder. I think Shea's gonna make it to the final for the first time in his career, and the OKC are finally gonna be in a final after. Have they made it to the final? How long has it been? 20 years?
No, they were there in
15?
2011, I want to say,
So 14
or
years. So it's been
2012.
14 years to make it to the finals, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that was just yesterday,
13
but
years.
you're right.
Well, 13 years, 13 years. 10 years ago, we were like 12, so
Still, man, that feels
we're
like
still little
damn.
jits.
That for me, that feels like not that long ago, man. But you're right. It
That
has been
feels
a long
forever for
time.
me. We're little jits. We're little. I was just talking about that at work, actually. No, but you know, I'm gonna say the Thunder. For fun, I would say the Timberwolves, but I'm gonna say the Thunder, and also because I kind of want the Nova Boys in the final. That's another reason.
Well, here's
But
the thing then. So you give me this. Who do you think's gonna win, and who
okay,
do you want to win?
I think Thunder are gonna take it. I would prefer the Timberwolves for the storyline. Do I want them to win the finals? I don't want them to win the finals, but I kind of want them to make it to the finals. Does that make sense? And that will lead me to my next part, which I'm assuming your answer is both the same, the Thunder.
Yeah,
You
I think
want
the
who do you
Thunder.
want? Who do you think?
I think the Thunder's gonna
Okay,
win, and I want the Thunder to win.
okay, that's fair. What about the next one? Pacers versus Knicks. Now let's move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
This one's tough. Well, again, I'm gonna say the same thing that I said about the other one. Right now, it looks like the Knicks are gonna take the game. Um, like pretty, yeah, they won. I'm just gonna say they won. If they come back, that's crazy, but they won. Um, so that could that could sway my answer a little bit because who was the higher seed? Do you know?
Between who?
The Knicks and the Pacers.
The Knicks are higher.
So
Knicks
we're
got
playing
third and Pacers got fourth.
at
They're today they're playing in New York.
SMG.
New York. They're SMG. Yeah.
So okay, so
MSG.
they're winning the game that they're supposed to win. Oh yeah, MSG. Thank you. Dyslexic, but
Nice. Okay.
yeah, I think that this one's hard for me because I feel like I'm being biased. This one, so you know how we did who do you want to win and who do you think's gonna win? This one on this series I have 3. I have who my head's telling me, which is who I think's gonna win. I have who I want to win, which is my heart, and then I have my gut feeling, which is like, even though my head is this team's gonna win, I have a gut feeling that it's this team. So
let's go with your head.
I'll start with my heart because I feel like that's the most obvious one.
Okay.
I want the Knicks to win. My head is saying the Knicks.
Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Because they have the two best players in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just been rolling, but I don't know why. I just have a feeling that the Pacers are taking it, man. I don't know why.
Wow. Really? Even if they win this game?
I want to be wrong. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Well, as a non-biased person, kinda. To be honest, guys, like I only have two emotions. For me, it's I think the Knicks are gonna take it, man. I think they're a little bit better team. Again, it's hard to say because we've been all capping on the Pacers every single game. I'm not lying. Every single game, I was like, "Oh, the other team's gonna take it. The other team's gonna take it." You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to root against them and be like, "Oh, fuck." So like, the feeling is for me that the Knicks are gonna take it in a hard ass freaking series. Like it's gonna take them to game 6 or 7. It's gonna be hard. And then the other side, they might not have as many games, so like they're gonna be chilling before the finals, and I think that might cook them. I doubt it because they get like a long rest period. But I'm gonna say the Knicks are gonna make it. But I kind of want the Pacers for that storyline, man. For the story alone,
but
you're underrated.
We just talked about boys and the Timberwolves, though.
That too. That's the other reason I want the Knicks to make it, and then Tim's on the other side. Because if they do, imagine again. I would rather want the Knicks to win than Timberwolves. But imagine if the Timberwolves win, Dante DiVincenzo's gonna be like, I made the right choice leaving. And then same with Julius Randle. You know, like
dude, that's like she didn't break up with me. I broke up with her. Because like, bro, they traded you. Imagine like they traded you, and then you win, and you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to leave anyway.
Yeah, that is. But then if the Knicks win, it's like it was the right choice trading you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's man, double sting.
You're right.
Double
either Timberwolves, Knicks, or Thunder Pacers. Those matchups are the most intriguing. I agree with you there.
If it's Thunder and Pacers, automatically I want the Pacers to win. I'm be like, you know what, give me the Pacers, man. And if Jay gets his first chip, man, top 10 point guard of all time. Nah, I'm just kidding. But you know what though? The casuals are gonna be going crazy if Shea. You know how bad the casuals are gonna be hating if he makes it. Everyone's gonna be, the free throws. That's all you're gonna hear.
Our friend Danny, he is gonna. I guarantee you. He's gonna say Shea is better than KD if he wins the ring.
He's not gonna say.
I'm gonna ask him.
Shea gets better sure
than. He will say that, dude. What are you thinking about? That's wrong. That's wrong. Why are you thinking about it? That's wrong.
No. I'm thinking about it like if he would say that or not. I think he knows that KD's better. Because K would be like, KD's got 2 Finals MVPs, you know?
Because you remember his argument is that KD is not even a top, what does he say, top 75 player? He thinks that. You remember?
That was pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah. Will's over here in the chat. Huh?
Yeah.
That one's pretty
So
crazy. That's a pretty crazy take. I'm not gonna lie.
we might have to
Hey
have
man, everyone's
him
got their takes,
on,
bro.
man,
I don't.
because
We're gonna
he
have
has
to
some
have Danny on.
crazy
Danny,
takes.
bro, we need to have you on so you can talk about that. Like that's a crazy take, bro. I'm not gonna lie. We've talked about this with you, or like that's a pretty crazy take. But you know what? We'll see, man. Everyone's got their own opinion. That's what I love. I love this sport, but some opinions are kind of wild. So man, I don't we got a rage bait, bro.
That's
But
true. That's true.
I don't know, man. The finals, it really can be any of these four teams, man. Anyone can take it. I think they are capable of it. I do think some are more capable, are more have the better arsenal than others. You know, maybe one or two, three teams are a little bit more better equipped. But man, I think anyone can take it. We all love an underdog story, so the underdog out of the four arguably is the Pacers. You can argue. I think out of the four, the Pacers are underdogs. Expected, nobody knows, man. Who do you? I don't know. I don't know who do you think is gonna take it. That's my question. I don't know. It could be anyone.
Well, here's what I'll say. Since I gave my heart, my gut, and my head, I don't want to be like,
Uh-huh.
actually, my pick was right
Actually,
because I picked both of
actually,
them.
actually.
So I'm gonna make
Uh-huh.
one solid pick so that I can't be like, oh, I picked both of them technically.
Hmm.
So my final prediction is on the West Thunder and on the East, I'm gonna say Knicks.
Hmm. All right, I'll finish it off too. Oh, I was gonna say Timberwolves Pacers, but I need to be realistic. Thunder, I'm gonna take the Thunder in the final, and it's gonna hurt me to say, but I'm gonna say the Knicks are gonna make it. Thunder versus Knicks. First of all, it's gonna be super entertaining. Who's gonna take it? This one, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I don't know who I'd want or rather want winning. For me, I would. I think I would. I think I'm a. I think I'm a favor the East. I think I'm gonna go with the Knicks to win the final. I'm not gonna lie. I think they just got a little bit. I know Zesty Cat can get that shit done. You know the memes are gonna go crazy. You're the type of girl I want to chew that on my bubble. All that shit. All those edits of him.
Dude, the
Going like,
edit
oh my gosh.
after all that, and there's gonna be him holding the
Oh, like
championship.
after all, like wait, how does he do in the edit? Like chat. Like after all that, and then we're gonna have the championship right here. Finals MVP. Nah. Nah, but for me, the Knicks are gonna take it all the way because I'd rather them than the Thunder. That is kind of the reason. I also think they can get it done too, but it's also that's part of me. But I think they're gonna get it done.
So you're thinking the Knicks win the finals then?
I'm thinking the Knicks. No matter who goes through, I think the Knicks are gonna win it.
Okay,
Again,
well me since my final
I think New
prediction was
York might explode. But sorry, go ahead.
New York Thunder, even though I want the Knicks to win, my final answer is I think the Thunder will win the
Mm,
championship.
I see what type of man you are. You're trying to jinx you.
Yeah, I'm
Trying
trying to
to
do
jinx
the
them.
I'm trying to curse them.
He's trying to do
But
the curse.
yeah, I would pick
Smart
them, dude.
man.
I would pick them.
Okay. And that's fair. Dude, it makes sense, man. The Thunder are good. They're proving it. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, anything could happen. Like I said, there could be something. Timberwolves might end up winning it. But then also the Pacers might end up just going crazy and just winning it too. I mean, think about it, man. Where they're at, all these four teams just need 8 dubs. 8 wins. No matter how you get them. That's how you gotta see it.
Yeah.
You have opportunities.
Well, the
You have
Thunder
multiple
needs seven
opportunities to
now,
get those eight
and the
wins.
Knicks need seven.
Well, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Actually, we need seven.
But actually, it's 7 games. Actually,
Oh, my bad. I
nah.
don't want to
But we'll
actually.
see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. But I think that's for our finals predictions. That's what we take. Thunder and Knicks over here. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting, man.
that was fun. And like Josie said at the beginning of the podcast, be expecting a lot more content now that we're in summer. You know, we're still working, but no more school to worry about, no more homework. So that's a little bit off our shoulders. We're gonna be doing a lot more like side content, like maybe some. we have some fun games that we want to do like short videos on.
Hmm.
So be on the lookout for those, and we're gonna keep doing the shorts as well, and of course we're gonna keep doing
Hmm.
the main podcast. But yeah, if you
Yes,
made it this far,
sir.
subscribe and like. And Josie, anything else you'd like to add?
Nah, man, just look out for new content. Make sure to stay here. We're gonna do our best to stay consistent, man. It's tricky. It can be, but just look out for the videos, like everything, comment. It really does help. And yeah,
Yeah,
man,
please
we're
like.
very excited. I know the season. Please like. I know the season's almost over, so like that is gonna be a thing of like what we're gonna do. But don't worry, guys. We have a lot of things planned
Oh
out.
yeah, we
We
have
have
a
a
lot of
spreadsheet
ideas.
where we have a bunch of stuff. We have a lot of ideas. But we'll talk to you guys later, man. Thank you so much. That was been fun, Valentine. Thank you.
I agree. All right. Until next week, or maybe
See ya. Look out
even
for
less
the
than a week.
shorts.